And I just started the backup record.
Sweet. That makes one of us.
Well, I just pushed the button on the 8.6, so it's actually pretty simple. Uh, I have not wiped, so hold on. Unless you got some, we jump right in the show.
Nope. Go for it.
All right, because we're gonna do this. It's gonna be a somewhat short show, and there's not gonna be any mistakes because we're professionals. So Mike didn't have a whole lot of editing to do because we're recording on Sunday night, which is February 16th. You can email us feedback at technicallyworking.show. We'll give you the Mastodon stuff at the end. I just saw Mike's post on Mastodon. And I immediately forgot what I started with before I stopped. Oh, I have not wiped the air yet. I was talking to you earlier today about wiping the air, and I haven't wiped it. And I'm glad I didn't wipe it just yet because I forgot to export my audio hijack session.
Ooh.
Which
Good
would save me
call.
some time. So I
Yeah.
will do that as soon as we're done recording.
Why do I keep pulling up Reaper to do my backup recording when I have a perfectly good audio hijack session that could just pop open and hit record with? I need to figure that out. I think it's because I live so much in Reaper that it's just more natural for me to pull up Reaper, arm a track, and then start recording. When really I should just open audio hijack and hit Command R.
So I think it's actually a combination of two things. I think it's one because you do spend a lot of time in Reaper. So your fingers go Reaper first.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, even when still on the Mac, you were doing Reaper instead of audio hijack.
Yeah.
And then you spent that time on Windows where that really was your kind of only option to do it was Reaper. So I think it's just become habit.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you're back on the Mac, it's still habit unless you're specifically trying to accomplish something with audio hijack. Your natural instinct is to open Reaper.
Yeah. I love audio hijack though because it just works. It's
an amazing piece of software, man.
So I wanted to start this show out and say I'm about to sound like a whiny little bitch, but you jumped into it. So we have a shopping problem, okay? And it's not just Mallory, it's me. We both tend to have a shopping problem. And this comes into play because when we get an Amazon package, we open the package up and then we do what we need to do with that package. Typically it's, something that we wanted or something that we needed, like I don't know, salt and pepper shakers was one of the more recent ones.
Okay.
Did you know they make electronic salt and pepper shakers that you just have to turn them over and they grind themselves up and start spitting the salt out and the pepper out? Anyways.
I did not know this.
Yeah. They run on like 4 AA batteries each or something like that. It's intense and they're great, except for when you're cleaning off the counters and you knock one of them over and then it starts going. Yeah. So the process is we take stuff out of the box, we go put it in the house where it goes, and then I just take the box and I throw it out in the garage. I'm like, I'm going to use that box. I'm going to ship something in it one of these days.
Man.
Gonna ship it. Yeah, nah. So yesterday we went to the dump. And I was down there breaking down all these boxes. From now on, when I get an Amazon package, I'm going to just start tearing those boxes down. If I need one, I'll just tape it back up. But it was a lot of work. It was funny. I told Mallory, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sore today. Like I feel like an old man. And she goes, well, you are almost 40. I'm like, whatever. Thanks a lot. She's like, you were working hard yesterday doing all the breaking of the boxes and packing stuff up and moving stuff around. So, as I was going to say, I wanted to start the show out and say, I'm a whiny little bitch because I know you deal with all this all the time. Maybe I should take that. I'll edit that word out.
You can leave that one in. I think you're probably good. All right. We'll see if anybody complains.
There we go.
Feedback at technicallyworking.show.
Yeah. Feedback at technically working
You ought to
on the
hear the
show.
stuff he does cut out when I'm pissed about something. Like, yeah, they didn't, because Mike is actually really good at not cursing during the show when we're recording, so he doesn't have to really edit himself too much with that. But there are times where, man, I don't even listen to the show, and I know he had to edit it because I will say to him in the midst of doing it, like, man, I'm sorry, you want to edit that, ain't you?
And usually I edit that apology out too. Sometimes I leave it in. It just depends on if it adds context to the conversation.
Yeah, yeah. But I have that same problem with boxes, where, and I've been doing it since Amazon, like before vending, and now there's just more boxes. So now I'm really looking at it like, okay, we got to start just flattening these out like instantly. Oh, that's empty. Flatten it out like there's not a. Oh, I'll use that box. Yeah, I'm probably not though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I used to do the exact same. I mean, I have tons of boxes that did kind of come in handy when we moved because
Yeah.
they're still there from Amazon purchases. It's like, oh, you just use this box. But now I'm still looking at them now, like, okay, we got to get these boxes out of here. What the dump cost you?
$16.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's
Uh,
just a flat
could,
price for dumps.
well, the reason it costs $16 is cardboard is free, but we had a couple of bags of like styrofoam and paper and the stuff that goes inside of boxes. When we went to go to the dump and dispose of it, he's like, looks like all he got is boxes. And Mallory's like, yeah, and these 4 bags of just random stuff that was in the boxes, because the things you find in boxes.
Huh. I wonder if our cardboard is free at the dump because, man, that'll.
Call them up and check. I want to buy. I want someone else to buy me, because I mean I could have bought it, hence the start of this part of the conversation. But I want someone else to buy me a cardboard shredder or a paper shredder that's thick enough to shred cardboard, because that might be kind of cool. And then you get to listen to it, grind it all up, and then I'd get bored with that and be like, never mind, I'm just going to throw this box over here. And
tips.pinecast.com/technically working.
they're about $179, the ones I was looking at. Have you looked into any of those?
I have not. What I actually was exploring, and it turns out it's a little bit more work than I want to do, is I was told by people, months ago, like, oh, there's places that will buy your cardboard. Like they'll pay for your cardboard
Oh,
boxes so they can, because they're going to recycle them and make more boxes or something.
yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that sounds like a good thing to do because it ain't like these boxes ever going to stop. And the research that I have done of the 2 places I could find within my area that I could get to or that would come and pick it up, it got a few too many requirements for me.
Ah,
One, well, basically both of them, like they want you to bail the stuff up. So like essentially what you would need, and I get it because they're probably targeting, small businesses, small grocery stores, small convenience stores that would have the room for this and maybe even the, I don't know how much they cost, but like one of those box crushers, right? That you put a bunch of cardboard crap in and, kind of like a car crusher just comes down
mm-hmm.
and presses them flat. And then you take a piece of wire and run it through and tie it up. And that's what they want you to do. It's like, well, I'm not doing all that.
Right.
It's a little too much trouble. Like I'll just drive up here to this store up the road and dump it in there.
Shout out to store up the road.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So look, if you ain't get me on the camera, I'm not going to mention you just in case. There is a problem. But I will probably, because I am accumulating stuff faster than I can reasonably get rid of it because I'm trying not to be that big of a jerk and like
Yeah.
overflow their dumpster or whatever. So, but I'm accumulating stuff faster and I can get rid of it. So I'm probably going to just take it up to the dump and drop it off
Yeah.
and pay whatever it costs to get rid of it. And then I will figure out something. I do need to figure out a longer term solution that doesn't involve letting it pile up and then taking it to the dump because that's non-tenable. And that also costs money. And the
Yeah.
dump is way the hell out, man. Like it's far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's one closer to us, but they're never open. So the one that's open when we can go out there is like 20 miles away.
Yeah, see, this one is something like that. It might be 25, 30 miles away. Like basically it's in a whole nother town. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's far out there. Like it's so far out there that the first time I went out there, I was like, I think this guy has gotten us lost. And he has passed the road. Oh nope, we stopped somewhere and asked somebody. It's like, oh no, it's still on down the road a little piece. You got about a couple more miles.
Wow.
What? Man, I ain't riding all the way out here for this.
Yeah. Next time I'll just pay someone to take all my stuff to the dump and they can go drive all the way out there. And
Man, the crappy thing about it though, like, so we're out in the county, and I feel like if I was still in the city dealing with the city waste management, I wouldn't really have that big of a problem.
mm,
But out here in the county, one, their trash cans are smaller, which is really annoying because we accumulate the same amount of trash we did living in the other place, minus, looking at anything to do with, vending stuff. It's still a household of four, and you got
mhm,
two small kids, and they're growing, so they eat a lot of junk.
mm,
So, the trash can barely holds our trash. Uh, the cost to get another trash can is just unacceptable to me.
yeah.
Some people might pay it, but I feel like it's just too much of a tax. In addition to the fact that, because it's an ongoing cost. It's not like, oh, pay for this trash can and then we'll pick up both cans. It's like, no, you're going to pay us for the trash can. We'll bring it to you because apparently you can't go pick it up. And so you got to pay for that. And then we're going to add on another. I hadn't really quite got a fixed number, whether it's
Mm,
like another $17 a month for trash pickup, or if it's more than that, or if it's $17 altogether over the quarter because we pay for waste management here quarterly.
mm.
So I'm still a little confused on the numbers. And it's still gonna be a small trash can, so it ain't gonna help me all that much. I tried to get a dumpster, and they were like, "Well, yeah, so we won't put those in a residential space." I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll go to the county chairperson and take them a bag of money and be like, I need you to reclassify this address as a business so I can do commercial things."
Something, or call and convince the person at the dump county chairperson to let me have a dumpster here because I truly need it. It's not like I just have a lot of garbage. I just need it because
Like,
I
listen, man,
do.
I'm operating a business out of my home. It's 2025. We should be able to have a little bit more flexibility with municipalities. And I'm out in the county. You think the county will be a little less restrictive about this
Right?
sort of stuff? I mean,
Yeah.
people out here burning trash all day.
Maybe. See, if we would have had, I miss wood heat. Just saying. Side note, I really miss wood heat. Electric bill is so much nicer. Anyways, if we
It
still
does.
had wood heat, the cardboard shredder would be a great idea because then you'd always have your fire starter.
Yep.
So, although someone in an apartment in a laundry room, which interesting conversations can occur there, told me that she collected her lint from the lint traps and dryers and used that for her fire starter.
Huh. I don't think that I
There,
would have ever
there's
thought to try that.
there's some special mm, there's some scenarios out there. I don't know that I would have tried that either. Yes. So what's new with you?
Man, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on that. Like,
No, she had a plastic bag, and I'm like, I think I asked her if she needed help with something. She's like, no, I'm just gathering up the lint so I can store it, so I can take it camping with me next time. And I realized I don't think I wanted to talk to that person much more.
man, I'm just baffled.
So how's your week, Damashe?
Oh man, it was interesting. So wait, did we tell this on the show? Now I'm starting to get mixed up on what we did. And no, we
If
did
you're
not
talking
reveal it
about,
on the show. Nope, we did not reveal it on the show. I said I was going to wait until it actually got here.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
But if people want to know what you're talking about, go listen to 2 weeks ago's post show.
Or listen to last week's post show.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, because we talk about it. So again, tips.podcast.com/technically working.
Yep.
Is what I think it is. Does that actually work?
Or yeah, it is. Well, it might
Or
be technically dash working. So just go to technically.
let's go to technicallyworking.show and
There
then
you
click
go.
on the tip jar. There you go. That'll get you there for sure. I know that works. Or does it? No, I'm kidding.
I haven't been to it in enough time. Maybe it doesn't.
We actually just got the SSL certificate renewed a couple of days ago. which is one of the reasons I have stuck with Cloud DNS all this time, because I'm still with them. I like their DNS management panel. It's actually improved. So I'm going to say Doug's feedback because I hadn't really given much. Uh, Finally got, handled because things are definitely wasn't super problematic, but it's better than it was in some instances of certain scenarios. But one thing I like about them is they will give you can set up a free SL certificate for a domain. So if you're forwarding said domain, you don't get these HTTPS errors from these picky browsers nowadays. And like, well, I'm just redirecting people somewhere else. But, nope, not going
To
to let you go to
another
that domain.
SSL. Like it's
Yeah.
all secure. Come on, browser.
But if you just have, the HTTPS doesn't work, it's like, nope, we're not going to let you go there. So that is a nice feature of Cloud DNS, and they do have free plans if you just have one domain, I think. So super cool. Week was pretty good, man. Actually, I did bring on a potential new employee on Friday. Actually,
Oh,
uh, and let's
good.
see, she went out to the
Do they listen to
university,
our
but
podcast?
they do not listen to. Well, you know what? I don't. No, they don't listen to our podcast. I was gonna say I don't know, but I don't. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that should be one of your interview questions. Do you listen to Technically
Do you
Working?
listen to my show?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't listen to the show? Okay, well that's an automatic pay cut right there. So you're starting out at $8. Now you got to get that back up.
If you can tell us how much money we've said we're going to charge JJ for ads in our show, then you get a bonus.
Yeah, there you go. That is a good question. That is a good. Hey, that should be a giveaway. When we get ready, we've been talking behind the scenes about doing a giveaway. We haven't made anything public, and no actual decisions have yet been made. But I think that might actually be a question we could use to filter through.
Yeah.
People like, do you actually remember what we said we were going to charge JJ for ads on the show?
Because I don't. I mean, I have an idea, but I don't remember the exact number.
I think I know, but
I'll go ask
that could have
GPT
been
one of these days.
that could have been a side conversation me and you had that was serious and not on the show. But yeah, so I brought this lady on Friday. She said she liked the work. She actually went out and did some work. We'll see how it works out. She'll have the rest area in the morning. So that's a knocker outer right there anyway.
So is she doing it, or is she just driving, or how's that?
She's driving. So the way that this typically works for me, and it kind of depends on location, but in most locations where I have a drink machine and a snack machine, I tend to let the sighted helper do the snack machine and I'll do the drinks for a couple of reasons. One, you got to yank to move the sodas around, even though you're right there. Like you got to pick up the case of sodas and stack it, put it in front of the machine and load it. So that's more work for me than I think, a helper because nobody. We almost made it with no edit points. Typically, the person or people that have been generally working for me are older or their body strength isn't that much, and I don't mind. Like it's not a problem. But also, I put that out there later. But the actual thing that is beneficial for me in that scenario is even in the cases where I will go to the snack machine first and like just take each chip if the row is empty and like stick what I want to go there for them to backfill behind it. So they know what's supposed to go where. They can is much quicker and easier for them to determine if the bag is upside down or right side up, etc. So let them do the snack machines. I'll do the drink machines.
Drinks are pretty easy to tell which is the top.
Yeah, well, drinks are pretty easy because you're basically just sticking them in a vertical slot, like you're stacking them sideways on top of each other. And most of my machines, that's how they go. So you're just sticking a soda in it. It's just stacking on top of the one below it sideways. So don't even matter which way it's facing because it's most of my machines are what they call live displays. So there's an actual drink in the front of the machine that represents what's up on, what you're going to get when you press that button. But that soda just sits there until I swap it out because it starts looking too old. Or if I change what's there, then I'll swap that soda out.
Gotcha. Okay. So that soda, it doesn't replace that one that people see when someone takes a soda. That soda just stays there forever until you change it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good. Hopefully that'll go well. It's always I imagine nerve-wracking a little bit to bring someone else on and train them and hope that they'll stick around for a while. Because yeah, we both have been in jobs where turnover is
Ridiculous.
substantial.
Yeah. I
So
think I think if she can keep up there and if she can keep up at the prison, and I mean, like she doesn't get irritated with it and like, ah, this is too much. She'll probably do all right. She does want to work. She's young enough that she's not like, uh, not having a whole lot of medical problems yet. She's like in her 50s. So, and potentially, if Friday is an indication, there is going to be some training required for sure.
yeah.
But tomorrow being a holiday, I can't do much but the rest area anyway. So, yeah, we're going to see how that goes. And I'll probably get some additional help up there just so I'm not up there all day because I got other stuff to do. But that's a good training opportunity because it's one of the bigger locations as far as the amount of machines that are up there. And I will probably stop by and check on my nursing facility. Nope, that's not what you would call that. That makes it sound like a place where nurses are. My elderly people's, my seniors' home. We'll put it there. I'm trying not to, piss off Jeff or something. Like, what do you mean, old people? What's up, Jeff?
88,000.
Uh, but I'm probably going to stop by there. One, just to check on them, but then two, this would be a good opportunity because I kind of know what the state of the rest area is going to be tomorrow, which is empty. So we'll stop by the that place on the way back into town, and one, so I can show her the routine there and introduce her to the people there, so they'll know she'll be the one coming in to sign us in or whatever. So I'll have to get out of the van and go in there. Hey, I need you to sign me in. And then give her a little bit and out of the cold, spend a little bit more time with, this is another aspect of the business. So you come to a machine and there's already stuff in it. Like first thing you need to be thinking about is check the dates on everything. Pull one from the front, pull one from the back, right? And I was talking to a friend of mine today and I was telling him, and I said, I think I see the potential with her for that to become a second nature thing for her when going to the machine. Because admittedly, sometimes I don't think about it unless there's something that jumps out at me because I'm like, oh, I know I've had to pull some of these because they've expired recently in another machine or something like that. Or, like right now I have some chips that I know expire on the 25th of February. So I'm checking every bag of those to make sure they're all out of the same batch, and I'm trying to hopefully sell them before the 25th.
Right.
Uh, but outside of situations like that, sometimes I do literally forget. It's like, oh, they ain't buy all of this. Let's put some more of that behind there, though, because apparently they like it because they have been buying it. And I don't think about like, hey, check the date right there in the front. Partially because sometimes you've told the person that you're working with that they got to check dates, and
Uh-huh.
ideally you would be able to now remove that task from your mental, to-do list of things that you have to do at the machine because you've passed that off to a person that is able to do it. Well, then you find out they didn't do it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, good. Good. I bought some new tech. We did not talk about it last week because I don't know if it had arrived or not. However, it has arrived, and either the NFC, and I need to have Mallory try it on hers. I keep forgetting to ask her. On my iPhone 14 Pro Max is broken, or I need to figure something else out because it works on the Android phone. I bought the dot card metal and the dot card band.
Yeah.
And these are digital business cards that allow you to tap your card against someone's phone, and then it brings up a page with a lot of information, and that person can add the details to their phone right there from your little portal. So you can update your dot profile on your computer. And then supposedly, and I need to work on getting these connected, so I'll have more details next week about everything that it works with and how smooth it is. As I said, right now I'm having a technical issue where when I touch the dot card against my iPhone, it doesn't do anything. But when I touch it against the Pixel 9 Pro, it does bring up the page that I need to configure for this dot card. But anyways, I got that. It's a metal card, the one that I got. I got the metal one because, well, it's metal and I wanted a metal one. It's about the same thickness as a regular credit card, might be slightly thicker. So it'll fit into my metal wallet. And then I just tap one side of the card against the NFC reader.
Wait, hold
and
on.
then
Did you say metal wallet?
yes, I have a metal wallet.
I kind of feel like we talked about this, but I don't.
Yeah, so I don't carry cash typically. This wallet is two metal plates that are on. So they're two flat plates that you put your cards between, and it'll hold 4 or 5 cards. And then there's a little strap on one piece of the metal that I can put some cash in if I need to carry cash with me. But I just found that just slips into my pocket a lot easier than a regular size wallet because I really only need my ID, my Pay on Media card, and my personal card. And those are the 3 cards I typically travel with. And then this dot card will be with me as well.
Huh.
Yeah. So $50 is what it costs to get the card. And what's kind of nice is that it is tactile on both sides. You can feel the design on it. And the side with the smaller design is what you actually touch against the phone. So you know that that's the side that you need to use for NFC. So not too much fiddling around with it. It feels good in the hand. You could also probably I don't think it would be an issue if you had, well, I don't know. So one thing to be aware of with this card is it probably would. I was thinking about it setting off the metal detectors when you're going through security. So I'm already used to taking my metal wallet out of my pocket and dropping it in with my phone and my headphones because that's what I have to do because that will set it off every time. And so I'm impressed by the way that the card feels. Full transparency, from what I have seen, their emails are utter crap when it comes to accessibility, especially their setup emails. Yes, I have actually provided feedback. Thank you, GPT. I've done what I said I was going to do multiple times, and that is write up some feedback and then have GPT help me craft a response. And then they responded to me, and I read it and I said, that almost looks like GPT wrote that. But they say they're going to work on making sure that their emails are easier to use and better to read. I also did let them know that I encountered several unlabeled buttons in their web platform. There's not a monthly cost with the dot card, so that's handy. And I might just deal with the unlabeled buttons right now, unless it is a negative. I'll still deal with it, but I'll be a little bit more loud about it to the organization if it's a negative experience. If I walk up to someone and I'm like, "Hi, person, how are you? Here's my dot card. Let's tap it against your phone." And person is using VoiceOver, and if the buttons to add specific details are not labeled, then I think I'll be a little bit more loud to them about it. But if everything else works fine, then I'll just deal with some of the challenges that I run into. So that's the dot card. It came out well. I also ordered the dot band because I thought, why not have another method? And the dot band reminds me a lot, and if you haven't seen this, then you don't know, but of the B band. So the material on the dot band is pretty much identical. You do poke the piece through the hole on the band, and then you bring it back on your wrist, and you poke the little peg into the hole. So it's on the outside, kind of like the B band is as well. Don't really like that. And on the top part of it, where someone would tap their phone, it's just a little rectangle box. It looks like it does not come out of the band. It's kind of built in there. And so they just tap their phone against your wrist, which after I got it, I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to hold my wrist out to have people tap their phones against it. It sounds cool and futuristic, but it also sounds a little weird too. So I don't know if I can get people to tap their phones against my wrist. The other problem I'm running into is the band is super small. My wrists, it does not fit. It fits around my wrist, and that peg might go into the first or second hole, but it feels a little too tight, like it's just going to pop right off of my wrist. So I'm going to probably give it to Mallory, and if and she might like it, and if she doesn't, well then go back to that giveaway thing we were talking about, because I don't know what the return window is, and I might be outside it right now. So
Oh,
that's my dot card adventure. I'll come back next week and let people know once I get it all set up and how smooth it works and stuff. So yeah.
so I just heard about a thing. Listening to an older episode, a couple of week older episode of Twit, uh, compass.blackbird.ai.
What the hell?
Well, I got to sign in.
You have to sign in.
Yeah, well, I just went there for the first time, like right now. So what it's supposed to do is allow you to paste in add an image or check text or a link to see if it's AI generated or if it's real or not. Like if it's real. So one example they used in the episode of Twit is um is Taylor Swift and the the Chiefs guy, Chiefs football player, she's
Mhm.
breaking up, right? And apparently there have been, I don't know, but this is what they said on the show. So apparently there have been some social media posting around that kind of, putting that theory or falsehood out there. So like, you type in the question and ask it and it would tell you, based off what it can find out on it. I don't really know how it works, but it seemed kind of interesting. You could drop an image in and, it's supposed to determine whether or not that image is AI generated or is a real image. Uh, it checks deep fake videos. Apparently, you have to create an account, but it's free to use. So I didn't realize you actually had to create an account. I was going there and I was going to check something. And I don't remember what it was. Oh, I was going to try to figure out if I could just copy some text and paste it in and see if AI generated that text. Because of your email from the card people. It's
Dot
like,
card.
hey, go
Yeah.
yeah, go paste it in and see if AI generated that text or not. But that's what brought it up. And I was listen to Twit today while I was packing up stuff and just started some. So now we're going to get into the recommending other podcasts you should maybe check out. Portion of our show. We do this occasionally.
Occasionally.
So uh, one, go join Club Twit if you like internet or stuff. Intelligent Machines seems like it could be a good show. It's still sort of This Week in Google,
Yeah.
but different. I'm curious to see what other guests are going to have on.
Bees coming to Intelligent Machine.
Yeah,
I think this
I've
week,
heard that.
actually.
Oh, that would be good. Oh, so
Yeah.
cute. So my bee is on the van somewhere. I have no idea where on the van, but it's on the van.
My bee's on my desk.
And so it picks up conversations and sends me summaries when we're riding around. It's like, okay, you got that slightly wrong. That is way off. I have no idea what that was about right there. And that person that said that was not me. So, but I don't know where it is. So I just know it's on the van because it fell off my wrist again. So see, here's the thing, right? So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
But an episode of a show that I started listening to before we started recording was Decoder. Decoder's a good show to listen to in general.
Is that by Neil Patel?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's that show. That's that show, man.
I come and go to that show. I look at
Me
it
too.
and I'm like, I don't want to listen to that, or that looks interesting.
Yeah. That's me too. There are conversations I have definitely skipped, and there are ones I'm like, oh yeah, let me listen to that one. So I queued up one just because I've been interested. I have been sort of tangentially using this company a little bit since around the time they started. Apparently, going back about 4 or 5 years. Bookshop.org, which supports your local bookstores when you're buying books. I've used them to purchase. Well, that's how I got to, what was that site I told you about? Libro.fm.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how I got to them for audiobooks was through Bookshop. I haven't actually bought any books through Bookshop directly until here recently. I bought a book. I bought an ebook because they've gotten into ebooks recently. Uh, just a side note, if anybody goes there because you want to support your local bookstores or whatever, and not just throw all your money at Amazon. Uh, at least from what I initially saw after I purchased his book, I have to download their app in order to read the book. So I'm a little pissed about that.
Mm.
I was looking for just a straight up EPUB download so I could throw it into this app and just have it play in the background while I was doing other stuff. But anyway, that aside, he has a conversation where he's talking, Nilay Patel has a conversation talking to the founder of bookshop.org. So they're explaining kind of how that works. I started there because there are like 3 episodes back to back, starting from the most recent one, going backwards. I was like, oh, I want to hear that one. And I went back. I was like, let's see what's next, though. I'll need to get into that before we do the show because I'll probably miss the show. I was like, oh, wait, that is a precursor to that. Oh, okay. So, here's a thing where they're talking about our federal government in situations. So there are like 3 episodes right after the bookshop episode that I want to hear. I think will be fairly good. So the premise behind um, Decoder is Nilay Patel from The Verge. I think he's the chief editor, editor-in-chief, whatever at The Verge. Anyway, he works for The Verge, and he usually writes their iPhone reviews. He interviews usually CEOs or other high-level people from a business about their business, like how they,
Mm.
as the CEO, operate the business. Like, what's their framework for making decisions? How do they deal with certain things? And in a lot of cases, asking like tough questions that maybe they wouldn't answer, or you don't normally get them asked because they're tougher questions. Interesting conversation with the guy from the pellet cooker guys.
Traeger.
Yeah, he had an interview with the Traeger guy.
Huh.
Well, the guy who owns Traeger now, because it
Yeah.
started as a yeah. So that was a fascinating story just to hear the backstory of the company itself. But good show in general. So if you like that sort of thing, definitely check out Decoder. But these last 3 episodes are probably going to be a little political, is my guess.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Speaking
Podcast.
of Traegers, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say podcast I can recommend that I am listening to right now. I'm really fond of a show that I can't remember the name of right now. I'm pretty fond of Business Wars. I know I've recommended that one to you a time or two. That's a good one. And
that is a good one.
have you
Check out the
dived into it yet?
KFC, man. Check out the KFC one. If you have not listened to this show, check out the KFC versus Chick-fil-A. Oh,
yes. Yes. I also like their rendition of, what was it, Netflix and Blockbuster?
Yeah.
So that's a good one too.
Yeah. The Ford and Chevy one was actually pretty good.
I don't remember that one. I might have to go back and find that one. They're going to start moving some of their stuff behind a paywall, which I have mixed feelings about. Like I have true emotions behind it. Because I get it. I know why you want to move your stuff behind a paywall. You got to make some money, and the quality that they do at Wondery is amazing. But man, I don't want you to move your stuff behind a paywall.
Subscriptions, man. Like,
yeah,
this is the hard part for me. Like, because number one, like, I hate the ads. Like, I don't like ads in general.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, I'm at a point that I really don't like listening to a show with ads in it. But what I really truly dislike are, because I can deal with host read ads. Okay, I gotta listen to an ad about a thing. All right, whatever. Squarespace, yes, please for coffee delivery. I don't know, whatever food delivery service is hot this month.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. What I really don't like is the dynamically inserted ads. Because they're all terrible. It's a terrible. I think somebody had a good idea at some point that could have worked had they probably stuck closer to the foundational idea and done better focusing on the tech of making that work. But they're all terrible because they all get inserted at the wrong spot at the wrong time.
So I think right now they're all terrible, but I think this conversation later this year is going to be possibly totally different because with AI right now, someone could analyze the audio before inserting the ad and say, oh, Tom took a break right there. There's the little sound. Let's actually put the ad here. And he's talking with an upbeat tone. Let's make sure we put an upbeat ad in here instead of the tone of the ad being different from the actual show. And I think there will be ways that could be a lot smoother than what it is right now. But right now, the problem is it's jarring. So the ad comes in and it could be in the middle of a word or in the middle of a breath or in the middle of sound effects or transitions. And the ad has absolutely 100% nothing to do with what you're listening to. Like I was listening to a tech show earlier yesterday, I think it was.
Did you get an insurance car ad?
No, but I got an ad for Kroger, for our local Kroger. And I'm like, wait, this has nothing to do with 3D printing, which you were just talking about. Anyways, YouTube's starting to bother me now too with ads because I've been watching YouTube and I swear they're getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Did you see this thing about YouTube having like 2-hour long ads now?
Yeah, I saw that. That apparently seems to be for people who are using ad blockers.
Yeah.
But that's still kind of an awful way to deal with that. Like that's just goofy.
Unless someone wants to pay for our show to be an ad. No, I don't think anyone would want to sit through our entire show in an ad when they're trying to watch something on YouTube.
Well, not if it interrupted something else you were trying to watch. No, that would be. I mean, I wouldn't even allow them to do it because like all you're gonna do is have people pissed at me now, like instead of being pissed at YouTube. Like
now, the ad placements that have been good is like I'll be watching a video on learning more about functions in Python, and then an ad will come on that says come join Code Academy for free or whatever, come join Code Place to learn more about these type of functions, and they're actually related to what it is that I'm watching. Then I typically hit skip, but I'm a little bit more likely to stick with the ad for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, even if we're not, it's at least decent ad placement. Going back to the dynamic insertions, though, the problem is the tech sucks, and I don't think it's going to get any better. Like we'll see, but I don't think it's going to get any better for the simple fact that for some of the shows that I've listened to that have had dynamically inserted ads, like I'm aware that the people behind the show are technically savvy enough to properly insert, the tone that they're supposed to insert and try to leave a space so that they can put the tone in and the ad will play and it won't be jarring in the conversation, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's the problem as opposed to I get the idea for people listening that don't really know what dynamically inserted ads are. What this is that there's not a specific ad on the show. Like most of the shows that I came into, I guess I would say growing, that doesn't sound right, but I grew up listening to podcasts with, from the early days of me listening to podcasts, they were generally the host of the show was reading the ad.
Yep.
Which, that makes it better, I think, just in general. But not everybody can do that. And sometimes you're trying to make more money or you're a part of a larger system that wants to do something different, or those ad dollars start to dry up. So you start looking for other options. But when this dynamic ad insertion came along, the idea behind it really does make a lot of sense because instead of you downloading the episode 6 months after it aired and hearing an ad for, say, I don't know, Squarespace, and Squarespace is no longer a sponsor, so that means you're not going to even get to take advantage of that code. You would get an ad that is relevant to you based off your location. And it will be a new ad. So whatever is selling for them now, which means they're actually making money off that ad being played if you go visit that site or do the thing or whatever. Which makes sense, right? And they were also regional, like I've gotten ads in certain shows. I think Daily Tech News might have been one of those shows for a car dealership over here in Mississippi, which was very strange to hear in a podcast because it, makes me think radio. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, that's targeted at me because of where my IP address is telling you I'm from. That makes a lot of sense. Cool. The way you just interrupted the transition here to drop that ad in, though, very, very bad. Don't like it.
Yeah. So I think I told you this. I don't think I told anyone on the show, but on our previous show, there was a gentleman named JT, and he did the disclaimer for us that this podcast may contain adult content. Listener discretion is advice. And I was listening to DTNS once, and all of a sudden I heard his voice talking about our local college, and I had to go. They effectively caught my attention because I went back and I'm like, wait, is that is JT? And it's funny because I reached out to him like, hey, I just heard you on a podcast. He's like, you heard me where? I'm like, on Daily Tech News Show. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but really he just sold his voice to the college and then they put it in the different places, including the dynamic ad insertion platform as well.
Yeah.
So
So good idea, but poor execution, I would say. Or I can see the reason for the idea. I just don't like ads. Now I'm been not watching YouTube because I'm very, very close to paying for YouTube Premium. Like the only
mm-hmm.
reason I haven't, they showed me an offer the other day when I was in the Google One app on the Pixel. And it was like, oh, you can get not Android, you can get YouTube Premium for, it was cheaper than what it would normally cost. And the
Yeah.
only reason they didn't get me to pull, they would have got me that day if they would have offered the family plan, but they were just offering the individual plan. They'd offered the family plan with a discount. I would have
Yep.
taken it right then.
Yep. Yep.
I'm that close. Google, if you're listening, or whenever Mike runs this through Notebook LM, hey, give me a good deal
Notebook.
on the family plan.
Tell Google to give Damashe a deal on family.
Hey, Alexa, tell Google to give me a better deal on YouTube
So I have one more piece of tech that we can talk about, unless you have something else you want to chat about. Did we cover what you wanted so far?
Oh, yeah, we're good, man.
Okay, so we'll wrap it up with this one. Speaking of podcasts to recommend, I recommend people listen to yesterday's, which is actually today's, Digital Bite, because I rudely cut Chris off. I did go back and listen, and I'm like, oops, I don't know what I did there, but must have been a timing issue. Cut off about 2, maybe 3 seconds of her audio. But I was demonstrating the DJI Mic 2 Go, or I think they're just called DJI Mic 2 is what they are. And I think we talked about these on the show once,
We did.
maybe.
We did.
Yeah, because it's what I use to do the Walmart recordings.
Yep.
With the lavalier mics. And I found out today that the clips that are on the lavalier mics also are magnetic, so you can just clip to the collar and not actually have to squeeze the collar in between the clips themselves on the lavalier part. But I was playing with this and I learned a lot about it. Speaking of YouTube, I was watching videos about this today. It was a 40-minute tutorial, and I'm like, I don't understand why it's going to take 40 minutes. And then I watched it, and after the 40 minutes, I'm like, I didn't know they could do all those things. That was actually very informative. And I'm like, now I know how to tell one of the boys what to do when I need them to go make a change in the receiver settings, because that is fully inaccessible. DJI sure would be nice if that was accessible. I never expect it to be, but and it could be with the third-party app or the DJI gimbal app. I forget the name of it, but these are pretty cool the more that I play with them. A couple of features that I want to mention is if you open the case, then the transmitters and receiver automatically turn on. So pulling them out of the case will keep them on. And then if you want, you can set it up so when the transmitters are on, they're also recording, which means you don't ever have to forget about accidentally not hitting the record button when you've got that great interview. And then the other feature that I really kind of like, I think, and I'm curious, you texted me, but I'm curious what your thoughts were. The music kind of overwhelmed it, and I didn't mean for that to happen, but they have the ability to cancel out noise, and it does pretty good at canceling out my heater when I'm literally standing right in front of it.
Yeah, the noise cancellation was good. Probably much like my room, just where you were was kind of reverby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm also extremely sensitive to reverb. I don't know why. Like, it's not a thing that I like, but I'm very sensitive to it, to the point I listen to people. I was like, this is a professionally produced podcast. Why did you show up recording in your bathroom? Like, why did you have to do this? Uh, but I'm just very sensitive to reverb, which is one of the reasons I love Isotope because D reverb is freaking amazing.
It certainly is. With that demo, I had the microphone, the transmitter, clipped to my collar with the magnet. So I think, yes, there was some reverb, but it actually came out pretty good with it being down on my collar. Because I've also
I
played with
don't
some
think
other
most people
wireless
would have
stuff.
noticed it. I don't think most people would have picked up. Like once you hit and going from the dramatic with the heater
Yeah.
going and then killing that noise with the noise cancellation, most people wouldn't notice it or it would just like it would just slip up under the radar. Like it wasn't terrible reverb. Like it's not like the way this room sounds to me right now. Like it's not that bad. But I just noticed it because I'm very sensitive to
Hmm.
reverb. It's kind of like being very sensitive to fan noise. Like fan noise on computers drives me insane. Like I don't know why I have to be this way.
I am going to use
Speaking of which,
these for the board meeting that I have in
yeah,
April.
yeah, we've talked about it because that was the plan after you first did the Walmart thing. I'm very interested to take a look at something like this. I know somebody, and I never actually followed up with them about their Rode mic uh, setup. I
Hmm.
feel like Steven used those somewhere too.
Yeah, he has them.
But somebody has them that I thought I probably could have got that borrowed, at least borrowed for a while, that unit off of them. But I'm very interested in the tech. Being able to have a mobile system, being mobile can also have downsides. Because I text you and said it's probably gonna be like 5, 10 after hour. It ended up being closer to 15 because even though I said to myself when I came out of the back of the house, okay, you got to get the backpack because the laptop is in the backpack. Okay, come all the way out here to the office, close the door, sit down. Oh crap. I can get the laptop. Not sure how I feel about this whole moving the computer around where I work at sort of thing, man, because I forget where it is sometimes. Like, so there's that aspect. But it is nice coming out, plugging out one cable, doing the thing. I really need to get me another audio interface. I don't know what I want at this point,
Hmm.
but I do need to get something because one, I don't think the H6 is really meant to be used. I don't use it as heavily now because I'm not doing calls every day, but I don't think it should be used the way that I'm constantly using it like this. Also, it means it's not in my bag to be used for other stuff with shotgun attachments and doing that kind of thing. So I need to get an interface at some point. I will, but it's nice to come out and also I wouldn't have to go through the fiddliness of like, oh, I got to turn it on and set up the USB mode and all
Hmm.
of that crap. Like I just, plug the one cable in and hey, we're good to go. Which is nice. I'm still using the OWC Thunderbolt 4 dock. I think it's a dock. Yeah, the hub is the smaller one. So yeah, it's a dock
Okay.
that I bought some years ago. Still using that. Don't have a whole lot plugged into it except for the H6 and something. Oh, a camera. There's a camera plugged into it that I don't use anymore. You can
That's
do
fun.
video.
So this OWC dock hub, whatever it is, square box, I have an audio interface and a camera plugged into it.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's a random USB-C cable in case I need to charge up something.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Nope, I don't have that in there, but I do have, I was just looking at it, I do have a adapter for a micro SD card.
Uh, yeah. I think I have an SD card, a micro SD card reader on. I don't know if there's a regular SD card reader. Man, there's
On,
an SD card reader on the side of your computer.
yeah, I know. I know. But this dock came before my computer.
That's true. That's true. So did this dock. It came before my computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Because it's funny because whenever I pick, so oh, I want to ask you a question before we wrap it up. We got time. But whenever I pick up this computer, I look at the side of it, I'm like, oh, I should just slip the SD card in there and then slip it into the back of the BI 20X. Speaking of BI 20X, do people know you have a 40X? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
um, I think we may have mentioned it a long time ago. It's probably been so long ago. Given how long it take to get it, I probably mentioned that's what I asked for. But
Yeah.
that would have been like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have the BI 40X. I would say I'm not disappointed with the selection. I still feel like, from what I've gathered from talking to a few other people, um, and just using this particular display myself, that it was the best thing that I knew about at the time when I picked it. And I
Hmm.
still feel like it's probably one of the better options out there. The Braille is very crisp. It actually operates pretty smoothly. It does not have a SD card slot, which I was a little disappointed to discover, because I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, I didn't. I don't. I think I knew that, but I didn't remember that. It does have a USB C, or is it A?
It
I think it's
has
A.
it has C. I don't know if you can plug something into the C port or not. I hadn't tried, but it does also have an A port for you to
Yeah.
plug in like a external drive or
Yeah.
something like that. So there's that option.
But good. Good. I'm glad that it's working well because I I like the Orbit, but it's loud. That's
That is like the Orbit is loud and it's also chunky.
mm, that's what it is about it. I think the BI40X feels good in the hand slash on the lap or desk, whereas the Orbit feels very blocky.
Yeah. That I say even more than the noise, I think is the issue. I think for me it's the blocky bulkiness of it. Even with the smaller 20,
Mhm.
it just feels bulkier
Yeah.
than the 40 that I have now with the BI 40X. I don't even know what it's called. You know that thing. Uh Interestingly enough, and I haven't gone down the rabbit hole with it just yet, but you can customize let me make sure I call these buttons the right thing. The buttons that are on the side at the end, at
Yeah,
either
the
end
ends
of the
of the
display.
display.
Yeah, you can customize what those buttons do and how they work. So that was interesting and new because the NLS reader also can very clearly tell what they cut out of the NLS
Uh-huh.
reader that they
Yep.
use now.
Yep. Hmm.
Having looked at a reel, I was like, oh, okay, so they really stripped that thing down. All right,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
that feature to customize those end buttons is newer. Like that was one of the big features they were talking about at ACB convention. Is that was going to be available, and you can even assign each one of those to open specific applications if that's what you want to, which I think is pretty cool.
yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Also, it gives you on when you're connecting to a computer or something, or a phone, anything with a screen reader, like you're using it as an actual terminal, Braille terminal display, as opposed to standalone mode. It gives you more buttons to customize there too, I think.
Mm, okay.
So that I just hadn't gone down the rabbit hole of customizing, but it's nice. Unlike previous times that I have gotten Braille displays, like I didn't get it. It was like, oh, I wish I'd have got something else, or I should have picked this thing or that thing. It's like,
And it's under $3,000 for a 40 cell Braille display.
which is not bad. I didn't
Like,
realize it because I didn't buy it, but yeah,
yeah.
that makes it even better. But I felt at the time like they showed me a couple of different displays. I did get a chance to look at the older version, not the one that I actually got, but the older version of that display from makes that display. Uh,
The Sparrow.
oh, oh, the Brilliant
Oh, the Brilliant.
Humanware.
Yeah, Humanware.
Yeah, I got a chance to look at their older 40 cell, and I was like, oh, that's pretty slim. Okay, yeah. And I still have a Focus 40,
Hmm.
fifth gen, I think it is. Uh, so, and that itself is a little blocky, chunky to me for a display, because it's got weird angles and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, the Brilliant BI 40X is nice. I've turned all the sounds off because I don't want any beeps and stuff going on while I'm doing things. I'm curious if I plug in something with an MP3 if I can play audio, but at this point in my life, I kind of don't care.
You
Just go to Apple
just want it
Music.
to work when you need to use
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I,
just go to Apple Music if I want to play some music now. It's just whatever.
I installed Apple Music to the Blind Shell Classic 3. If you remind me next
Oh, did
week,
it work?
I don't know. I haven't opened it yet, but it
Uh,
let me install it. So,
oh, okay. So
yeah,
tune in.
yeah.
Listen, definitely tune in next week so you can find
You'll
out.
have to remind me because I will forget to report on it, but I will check it out tomorrow. I think Jacob is who I was telling this to. That I am not the fastest Braille reader, But when I'm voicing treasurer's reports, having brailled numbers in front of me is so much easier to read. For me, numbers and braille is worth it for sure.
Hmm.
When
Cool.
you're when you're reading 5 digits and you don't want to transpose
Stumble over.
numbers.
Yeah, yeah. No, it makes a Braille, I think in a lot of cases, even and that's a good one of those good example scenarios where like you don't have to sit there and read a whole script or something with Braille or whatever. It's like, oh, I just need this particular information that I need to make sure I read correctly, and you're good with numbers, so you can read the numbers and they come out right. So yeah, Braille is very handy.
Before we wrap it up today, if you are going to be at CSUN and you're interested in connecting, use one of the contact methods that Damashe will share with you here in a moment, and reach out to us, and we'll make sure that I end up hanging out with you somewhere. We are putting together with a couple of different people a hang out at the hotel restaurant on Wednesday the 12th, probably kicking off about 6 p.m. And I know of about 15-20 people that'll be there. So if you're interested, just come to the hotel restaurant and shout out for us or reach out to us, and we'll be able to see you. Damashe will not be there. You're going to be at NFBAL. Is that what it is?
Will be at NFB of Alabama State Convention. So the Friday that CSUN ends is when their convention starts. So I'll be there that weekend.
So
And that's
pretty
going to
good.
be in Tuscaloosa. Pretty good trip, man. I wish I could have made CSUN.
Yeah.
Especially because Stevens and Sean gonna be there. And I
Right.
think this might be the last time they come. At least
Yeah.
for
I
a
don't know.
while.
We'll have to convince them to come back over. So to come back over and hang out once you can
Well,
get there too.
yeah,
Or we can all go over there. I don't know. I've never been abroad.
yeah, I mean that could be a thing too. We could go over there. That might be easy. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we could meet somewhere in the middle, like Europe somewhere. Like maybe not.
Canada.
Maybe
We could
not.
all meet in Canada.
We could do that for sure. Yeah, maybe not the UK though.
Yeah.
Might have to take a burner phone to the UK. Bring back the Firefox Ubuntu phone. I'm gonna throw this out at the end of the show. It's something I meant to discuss with Mike on the show. We'll follow up on it later. But if you know of any manufacturers that are capable of building or duplicating, I don't know if it's fairly complex hardware, but hardware, like, just get in touch. I can tell you more about it. We'll talk more about it on the show too. I just got ideas, and I think it's time for me to stop being annoyed by the fact so much stuff that we have to rely on day to day is not accessible when it could be. So
Mm.
we're gonna get back in that movement. If you're in that movement, reach out. If you think you know somebody, reach out. If you're just interested, stick around the next week. I'll tell you more about what I was thinking about. But I did tell Mike it was gonna be a short show. So thank you all for listening to episode 98 of Technically Working. That means we're two away from 100. So you can use the following means to reach out to us if you have some ideas of things you would like us to do for 100. Because full transparency, we ain't planned a damn thing. Because neither one of us thought about it, even though we say the number every
Yep.
week.
Yep. I mean, the first week of March is going to be, interesting. Yeah.
We will be doing double recording that week. So, all right. You can follow him on Mastodon. He is Payon, Payown, at dragonscave.space. That is DRAGONSCAVE.space. I am Damashe, Damashe, at technically.social.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I really want technically.working, but it doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm Damashe at technically.social. There we go. You can use the hashtag technically working and capitalize the T and the W in those words. Thank you. And it's really easy because there's only one T and one W. So
Yeah.
work that out. Feedback at technicallyworking.show is how you can send us an email. You could probably, if you want to go through the trouble of doing it, reach out to either one of us on Blue Sky. Can't guarantee you will get a response.
I'll get a notification, but I don't think I'll get a
I don't even
response.
think I'm gonna get a notification, but eventually at some point I will jump in there and look. So, just Mastodon is probably your best bet, or
Yeah.
email. We do talk about your emails and respond to your emails, which I need to set that up on the computer. But thank you for listening. We truly appreciate it. Shout out to our tip jar supporters. Legitimately, most of you that are here today have been here from the time we started it. We have brought on a few new people in the meantime. So thanks to all of you, whether you started with us or you just joined last week. That didn't happen, but be nice. Maybe we should start doing the thing that they do on. No, we're not gonna do that.
What, shout out people's names at the
Yeah,
beginning?
no,
Yeah.
we're not doing that. We're
Yeah.
not doing that thing. But anyway, thanks to all of our tip jar supporters because again, listen, man, I have seen the price of eggs, right? So,
Yeah.
uh,
Used to joke about wings, but now it's eggs. Eggs are ridiculous.
so the fact that you choose to spend some of your limited amount of money with us, well, no, maybe some of you is not so limited, but we appreciate what you can do, especially with the cost of eggs. I'm just saying, it's outrageous. It's a travesty, I tell you. You can become a tip jar supporter by going to technicallyworking.show and on that podcast page, clicking on the send a tip link. And that will take you through the steps. We occasionally have bonus content for our tip jar supporters. And we also promise that if you are a tip jar supporter, at some future unspecified date when we do start running ads, you won't hear them.
Hmm. And I have
Other-
systems in place to make that happen, which has been working out pretty well.
Yeah, we're laying the foundation. We will have some ads in here at some point. Just neither one of us is pushing too hard for them at the moment because we're laying the foundation. Yeah, we're gonna get there. Website coming soon. But anyway, email, Mastodon. That's the best ways to get in touch. We appreciate all of you who listen. And do us a favor if you think the show is great or valuable in some way to you. Uh, Tell somebody else that you think might be interested and get enjoyment out of the show. We appreciate it.
And quiz your new hires on our show content.
How much did we say we would charge JJ for that?